everyone, and happy Wednesday. This is Loretta Sernowski from Remax. Welcome to another episode of Living in Rocky Point. Today we have a very informative session, and hopefully we have some guests watching that might be interested because it's an amazing opportunity for someone who wants to own or have the dream of living in Mexico and owning a beach bar. And today we have Kris Nichols, who is the owner of Margarita Mermaids, and she is actually putting her business on an auction. How are you today, Kris?
I'm terrific. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So can you share your story for everyone about how you first came to Rocky Point?
Well, if you don't know it already, because we've shared this story many times, but it's a great one. It's actually a love story. My husband, Rick, and I, about 15 years ago, we were having dinner with a very good friend of ours, Crazy Ed Shalene, who owned the Satisfied Frog in Cave Creek for over 40 years. And he was retiring there. And he goes, I've been living in Rocky Point for about 6 months, and I'm sure missing having a restaurant. He goes, I'm thinking about opening up a Satisfied Frog in Rocky Point. I said, oh, Ed, that's a great idea. Why don't you do that? I love that place. I said, I'll be your best customer. He goes, oh, no, Chrissy, you don't understand. I want you and Rick, you kids, to do it with me. I said, oh, no way. I don't want to own a bar. And my husband, he has the most amazing, sweet blue eyes. And he goes, honey, can we see what Ed has to say first? I said, okay. I knew at that moment I was going to end up owning a bar in Mexico. But anyways, fast forward, we ended up being marketing partners for the Satisfied Frog here in Rocky Point when we opened up the Satisfied Frog with Ed. That was like 13 years ago. And after about 6 months, I got to be honest with you, I fell in love with the business. I fell in love with the customers. I've always loved Rocky Point. It's always been my backyard beach. I grew up in Arizona, and it just ended up being a perfect fit. 9 months into the deal, Ed drops the keys in Rick's and my hands and says, okay, kids, it's yours. Have fun. We ended up being the managing owner partners, not just marketing. And the rest is history. It's been the best adventure of our lives. And I can't thank my husband so much for saying, Chrissy, can we see what Ed has to say? Because it's been great.
Right. Well, that's such a great story. I remember when I moved here, because I moved here during COVID, and had your location burnt down or something like that?
Well, let's stay in the Satisfied Frog era first. So COVID hit. I know the exact date. We started hearing about it in 2019 in December, but it wasn't labeled a danger or threat yet. By February of 2020, we had Satisfied Frog was ready for probably the biggest year we had ever had. We knew we had so much lined up for that year. It was going to be huge. And we had events happening all in February and March. By March 18th, I'll never forget this, it was announced that COVID was in Rocky Point. They were closing the town. Everything locked down. By the 25th of March, it was a different world.
Yeah.
It was incredibly terrifying and scary. And I got to be honest with you, incredibly sad. So what happened is we kept the restaurant going, or at this point, I was running the Frog by myself. And Rick was here in town, but I was running it myself with the staff, and we turned the restaurant into almost like a community resource. There was a lot of people that could not leave their homes. I mean, we ended up delivering groceries and delivering food and helping people get what they needed, medicines and things like that. We did that until May 31st of 2020 was the last day of the Satisfied Frog. And then within 2-3 days, I rebranded. The Satisfied Frog was gone, and Margarita Mermaids was born. And we remodeled the restaurant, became Mermaids, and we opened up in a soft open on July 4th of 2020, right in the middle of COVID. At that point, it was back to being a restaurant again. We started getting customers coming back in. But, honestly, it was why I call it a love story, because on July 18th at 1:15 in the morning, there, like you were saying, Loretta, there was a devastating electrical fire. And we had just put all our money into remodeling into Margarita Mermaids. Rick and I'll never forget it. It was terrible. We were standing in front of the building, just utterly in shock. And our staff was there, and everybody's faces were black. So we're trying to see what we could save. And what wasn't damaged by fire was damaged by smoke or by water. It was just, or heat. It was terrible. And I remember about 9 a.m. that morning, I didn't know what the heck we were going to do. And all of a sudden, I looked down the Melocone, and here comes Jose from Boo Bar with all of his guys, buckets and ladders and all kinds of stuff. And there must have been 8 of them. Not even 15 minutes later, here comes Jerry and Charlie and the crew from Tequila Bar and Shark Bite and Manny's. And everybody just came in, and that's why I call the fire a love story. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the love of Rocky Point, the people here. Our community is amazing. It's not one, it's all. And so, I believe what goes around comes around. We put a lot into giving back to this community in the Frog Days. And when we had the fire for Mermaids, they came back to us. I still get choked up. It's just a beautiful love story. So we're here because of the love of Rocky Point.
Yeah, I think I was here maybe a week, and my neighbor Russ, who he said, "Oh, I'll take you to this fundraiser for your place."
Yes.
And I was just like I just couldn't believe that all these restaurants were doing this for another place.
I know it. I mean, the fundraisers were held at Manny's.
Yeah.
My musicians and other musicians held the fundraisers there because they couldn't do it here. And at that time, we had been making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches since March of 2020 to help with the feeding industry here because the COVID impact the community. And right in the middle of the remodel and the rebuild, and we did it for 2.5 years. We kept making from 1,000 to 1,600 sandwiches every week for the feeding ministry, and we just kept it going. So it was like, what you put into something is what you really do get back. And
right.
You put out good stuff does come back to you. And that was a very good reason why people were there for us, I believe.
Oh, absolutely. So when you did the rebranding, is there a story behind the name?
Well, that's my husband. I give credit all to Rick. The funny thing is we had every intention of being managing partner owners of Satisfied Frog, and then also owning a second bar called Margarita Mermaids. We were going to have 2. Uh-huh. And then my husband unfortunately had a heart attack, so we put the second bar concept on the shelf. Thank goodness we did, because we had all the components ready. So when the Satisfied Frog closed in May of 2020, it didn't take a lot for me to get everything ready, literally 30 days, to open up Margarita Mermaids. So it was a blessing in disguise.
Right. Yeah. So this is the question on everyone's mind, because when I come there, you look like you're in heaven. Like you're smiling, you love it. It's,
I love it.
You're not like, oh my God, I can't stand this place. I can't wait to get out of here.
Not at all.
Why
I look around. I'm sitting here, and we're closed for the summer right now. We'll reopen on the 28th of August for Labor Day, but it's so quiet. I just love it here. And you're right. It's my passion. It's my heart. And it's the people, though. Honestly, Loretta, I'm not going anywhere. And it's sad that I had to make the decision for personal reasons to sell the business. And that way I can spend more time with my husband, which is so important to me. But I'm not going anywhere. This is home.
That's great. Are you, for potential buyers, are you going to be mentoring them for a certain time period to help the transition?
I sure am. I know if anybody knows what's going on, we are auctioning off the business instead of just doing a typical sale. And I set the bid price for very low. The starting bid price is only $30,000 on purpose.
Mhm.
And we did not get into this business to be millionaires. We did this because it was something from our heart, our passion, and we've had the most amazing life for the last 14 years. Well, I would love for the person that is the winning bidder of the auction to have the funds and the time and the energy and the fresh ideas to take this to the next level, to shepherd it to the next era of Margarita Mermaids, because it has so much potential and I want it to go. I want it to soar. So yes, it's a low price to get in, and right now we have 4 registered bidders. I'm very careful on pre-qualifying everybody because I want them to have a very transparent idea of what the business is going to take to make
Sure.
this business successful and them to really enjoy it. So we're
So
ready to
that's
go for August 16th.
oh, wow. So for someone who's wants to put in a bid as well, what do they do? What's the process?
Well, the process is real simple. First of all, if they go to learn what is included in the sale and to be able to contact me directly, it's really simple. We built a selling website. So it's Margarita Mermaids, MX.com.
Okay.
So that's Margarita Mermaids with an S on the end, MX for Mexico.com. And there is contact me button there on the website so they can look to see what's in the sale included. And yes, I'll answer your question about the transition time in a minute. And they can go to this website to see everything, including assets and the value and what the social media, everything. It's complete turnkey business. So literally they can buy it one day, open up bank accounts the next day. On the third day, they can open up for business. Part of what I'm offering, going back to your first question, I apologize, is about transitioning. I think it's very important, even if you've owned a business, let's say someone's owned a business in the States, a restaurant business, okay? It's very different, as you well know. Real estate, Loretta, is this right? Selling real estate in the States and selling real estate in Mexico is 2 different ideas, correct?
Correct.
Well, owning a restaurant is the same thing. If you own a restaurant in the United States compared to Mexico, there's a lot of different processes, different steps you go through. It's not difficult, but you must have quality professional services and resources. The best thing about buying my business is you're getting all of my resources that I have set up I've been using for almost 14 years. I have a staff that is fully trained, committed, loyal, trustworthy, and very excited about working with some new owners. They're all on board. On top of it, you have me, at least for a little while. I'm going to help the new owners transition over a few weeks. And we can talk about if more is needed, more time is needed. I'll be open to discussing that. But I want to make sure that they understand how I've been running the business successfully so that they can see what I'm doing. And then I will introduce them to all of their vendors and all of my resources, my CPA, my attorney, my banker, all of that. So they'll be all set.
Okay. So when they fill out the contacts, do they have to put down any kind of money to be in the auction, or do they have to have proof of funds or anything?
I'll tell you. Well, the first step is they go on the website. They send me a request. I call them, and I do a pre-qual over the phone. I talk to them. I find out who they are, and then for them to bid, they are going to they're going to sign an NDA, and then they're also going to sign an agreement that the earnest money it's $5,000 check. The earnest money will be held by me, and if they are not the winning bidder, 100% of it goes back to them. Or if they are the winning bidder, And the loophole that I put in was in the purchase agreement. I love this. This is how honest I am. If for any reason the lease does not work out to the agreement between the new owner and the landlord, which is the Vina Del Mar Hotel, the purchase is null and void, and the $5,000 earnest money goes back to the bidder.
Okay.
Okay. I want to make sure this is a win-win for everybody.
For sure. So you're a very well-known celebrity in Rocky Point, you might say.
I don't consider myself a celebrity, Loretta. You stop that.
Sure. For sure. So what are your customers and your regular people? What is everyone saying?
I am so humbled at the love pouring out. I mean, the last day we were open, I only expected a few people to come by because with this time of year, it's kind of quiet. Oh my goodness, I was so overwhelmed. It was like one big hug. The place was packed. You would think I was having a dinner show and Mark Mulligan was here, the way so many people just kept coming by. You were one of them. And it was just beautiful, actually. And I've received so many messages. Oh, Chrissy, we love you and we're going to miss you. And I said, I'm not going anywhere. I may not be the owner of Margarita Mermaids, but I'm definitely staying in town. This is my home. I love the community. I plan on still being a part of helping out different community charities and such to help the people that need it here and, give back like I've always done. My husband and I are committed to that. So I know I won't be the owner, but I bet you they're going to have Chrissy Rita here at Margarita Mermaids still.
Probably. So do you have like I know you can't really say to the new owner, listen, you need to do this, but do you sort of have a wish list of what the new owner's going to, do with the business?
I actually do. That's a great question, by the way. My first wish list about the new owners is that they are obviously good people and that they pick up, hopefully, giving back to the community like we've been doing for the last 14 years. It would be very sad to me if that was dropped.
Right.
But, I know how it is when you sell a house, Loretta. Once somebody moves in, it's no longer yours.
Yeah.
But that's one. But another thing is also, I hope that they keep the fried chicken.
We got to talk about the chicken. Because that's kind of what you're known for, besides your very good margaritas.
Thank you very much.
Thing that you're going to share with them, the recipe?
They will. Yes, you know what? As a matter of fact, that's a big part of what they're buying. That's why it's called a business asset auction. Part of those key assets is all of my recipes, drinks and food included, and not just the recipes, but the processes of how we do what we do. It's really easy to say, okay, I'm going to make you a margarita, but it's the way you do things that makes a difference in quality. Recipes are that way. So, they're going to receive all that. But, back to that wish list, I really hope that they appreciate the local musicians that we have here. We've had Tony Jimenez and Ricardo Rivera as our house music for quite a while now on Fridays and Sundays. And I really hope, because we have so many other good quality musicians in town, but they're two of my favorites, and I really hope that they stick around.
They're great. It's one of the great things of Rocky Point is you can go anywhere and lots of places and listen to live music. It's so good. So on
true.
That note, what has Mark said?
You mean Mark Mulligan?
Yeah.
Mark was the first one to find out.
I'm sure.
He is a dear friend of Rick's and mine, and a very strong Christian like us. And he is incredibly supportive of what we're doing. But I have to tell you, I have some ideas. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to say for my friends and my musicians that know me, stay tuned.
Okay. That's interesting. You want to
So
kind
you
of
may have to have me back. You may have to have me back on the fall. We'll see.
I was going to say maybe you could come and work with me.
You're adorable.
Let's hope George Bravo isn't listening because he'll be texting you right now. So tell me, what is going to be the hardest part of this for you about saying goodbye? What's the hardest? What are you going to miss?
Boy, when you asked that question, I almost cried. When I dropped the keys in their hands. That would be the hardest part.
Of course. And what's the one lesson that you've learned? Like, oh my God, if I only knew this, or what's a lesson that you've learned that you can pass on about running a business in Rocky Point? And it could be a negative one, it could be a positive one, it could be a combination.
I'll tell you two. I'm going to give you a positive and a negative because I think it's important to share that. The most positive lesson, I've always loved people, okay, Loretta? That's just who I am. You know that. But the truth is, it's the people that you touch and that touch you is what makes you rich. There is nothing more valuable in this world than that. Nothing. I always love people, but being a part of this business this last 14 years has driven home that is the value of life. And then the one lesson I've learned is, and you're going to love this, nothing like telling everybody my weakness. Okay, here we go. I put too much on my plate.
No.
And that's not always a good thing. My husband is listening right now. Yes, Rick, you're right. So, it's true. I tend to go 100 miles an hour, and when something's not even done, I've already got something else going, and there's never a gap. Well, I need to slow down a little bit and enjoy the roses and those smiles and those hugs, and maybe get around town once in a while and see other people.
Yeah, but you know what they say: if you want something done, ask someone who's busy.
That's true, and that is a fact. That is
right?
a fact. Yes.
So true. So, what are you gonna keep anything from the restaurant, like as a memento?
Yes. Well, I have my beautiful mermaid wine glass that was from our very first charity auction. Roxana Chana has painted all of our charity wine goblets for us that we have auctioned off over the last 5 years. And I'm going to keep my wine glass. It's already at home. But, it's really hard because all of the artwork in here were actually, most of them were gifts. And if the winning bidder that buys my restaurant does not want to keep, I can't imagine, but if they don't want to keep it as Margarita Mermaids, I am asking for everything back. And then what I'll probably do is I will probably run a charity auction and auction off most of it, and that money will go toward my charity work I want to do in the community.
But don't you want to keep something and take it home?
I do. I have two pieces. Do you see? There's a piece of art. Let's see if I can show it to you guys. See that piece of art behind me hanging up there, that big one?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Israel, he did that for me, and that was my birthday gift. And I don't want to give that away, but I have nowhere to hang it. It's huge.
And then just take it home and get rid of something else in your house.
That's what I should do. I love you. I would love to take my shadow box mermaid party table that's 8 foot long home with me, but my husband said no.
Yeah. I'm sure. You can't take everything. And I mean, some of those things are that the restaurant is you. It's actually you. So when people bid on the auction, they're buying that place because you've created a place that has such personality, and that's what's going to make it successful.
That's very kind of you to say. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, we'll be anxiously awaiting. I'll reach out to you and see what happened. I'm gonna for those watching or listening, we're gonna post and put the link for everything after we edit this for the auction for tomorrow, as well as Chrissy's information.
Very good.
If you have any questions, you can reach out to her, obviously. So good luck with your auction. We'll be anxiously awaiting your answer.
Oh, I am so honored that you invited me to be on your show, and thank you so much for all your support. You've always been around there, and it means a lot.
I always have people.
I know
asking me, and one of the places when I have new people that come to Rocky Point to look for property, your place is definitely one of the places I take them, because I take them for the chicken, the margaritas, the view, your bright smile, like. It helps me sell houses.
Well, honey, anytime I can help you out, I will.
That sounds good. And on another note, you guys know that I'm a realtor here with Remax, and I not only do residential, but I do commercial. And I have an assistant that does a lot of research and development for me, and we have a hotel listed here. So I gave her instructions to start contacting Remax agents across the globe. And lo and behold, we got an answer from Remax Italy. So wouldn't that be cool if we could have
that would be awesome. Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Anyway, it's just the power of how Remax is and why I'm an agent there and how much I love it. So anyways, have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you soon.
Well, thanks for having me. You too. And I'll see you around town.
Sounds great. Bye-bye.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.